All indicators are in the green. We're ready for another CIRF report, and this one for the week of the 10th to the 16th of February 2022. I'm entitling this report The Ferocious Lion, to get you caged, pun intended, and getting ready for the explosive energy that this week has to offer. As we get into our surfing stance, start surfing the energy of a full moon in Leo, and Mars and Venus holding hands together, electrified by Uranus. Yes, that's what you have to look forward to. And here's our summary slide. So, and there's a whole lot of astrology and big astrology. So it's not just the full moon. We have Mars and Venus that are going to end up going exact together, and this alignment, as we've talked about, is going to last for quite some time, a couple months. And those two together are going to trine over to Uranus. Uranus being the planet of change, insight, freedom, rebellion, but electricity. So Mars and Venus, which is already passionate, is going to get electrified this week. Then Mercury is exalted back into Aquarius. We have Jupiter with its secret sextiles, and those of you who are aware of this have an opportunity of getting into that Jupiter gateway to wisdom and synchronicity. And Pluto and Mercury still together, so Mercury having some more transformations, and a T-square on Uranus. All planets are direct, so it's forward. Now, there's your number one yang thing, forward, with all planets direct, nothing retrograde. Now we go over to the Dreambot, where the people are dreaming, the collective unconscious, and it's clearly the vast majority of dream symbols are yang. It's representing robust energy that is expanding, pushing outward, ready to go forward. Finally, the pendulum is swinging, and in a big way. Then we also have an imagine and look. And so if you can't imagine it, you can't create it. So both of these together are manifesting. And then the I-Ching says 43. It's determination. Sounds a lot like Capricorn. So it's like a Capricorn thing. Hey, stay at it. But the determination is the energy that represents the change in the swing of the pendulum. Because when that pendulum swings, at the moment of change, like when you're on a swing, you look down and it's no matter which direction you're headed, it's determination that you know where it's headed, but you can add to that energy of like these surf reports. If you're surfing appropriately and putting the right behaviors into it, the right momentum, the right posture, then it makes a profound difference. And that's what this determination is. It's at the time of the pendulum swing, we have full moon in Leo. We have Mercury exalted, having just gone through a double transformation with Pluto. And we have all planets direct. It's a very yang state. The Leo is right in the middle, so that's where your Dreambot is. And the I-Ching determination is pretty much all of the astrology. That's why the blue circle is pretty much covering all of the purple, and the purple represents all of the possible energies coming from the tropical astrology. So overall, passion is electrified. And I'm going to show you and depict this for you so that there's no doubt in your mind that this is happening. Passion electrified. It's a full throttle go, pushing the accelerator down hard. All right. That's the energy. So let's start getting into the nuts and bolts of this, and we'll get started on some comments first. And if you haven't yet subscribed, go ahead and do that now. Push down on that like arrow if you're even over on Rumble. the Rumble button. I really appreciate it, and I appreciate all those comments. I wanted to start with Yeshua, and I'm going to read this entire message. I'm not going to read all these messages, by the way, but this one I'm going to read because listen to the energy behind it. The National Dream Center message board hasn't allowed people to register in years. Yes, years. I've tried in different computers, different internet connections, and even different operating systems. What is the point of having a message board if you're not going to allow people to join and communicate? The first thing I want to say is, Yeshua, a big shout out for commenting here. Thank you. But I also want everyone to notice the energy behind this message is very commensurate with the energy that you're going to feel this week. It's ready. It's ready to release, to push, to go on the offense. This is the energy. Now, to answer this exact question is, I didn't know that people, I know it sounds like a cop-out, I didn't know people are having a problem joining. I didn't think people were much interested, but now it sort of makes sense. There's not a whole lot of people there, and that's why we transitioned most of the effort over to YouTube and Rumble on these particular videos. But I do want to operate a message board. So Yeshua, get a hold of me, National Dream Center at gmail.com, or just plop a message down here and let's get you in there. I'll personally help you. I did a cursory glance over there in the settings yesterday when I had a little bit of time. I didn't see anything that's preventing people from getting on. So let me help you personally. And anybody else that wants to register, please put your comment down below or get a hold of me, all one word, National Dream Center at gmail.com. And let's get this board back up and running. Thank you, Yeshua. This is a very important thing. Yes, I do want to have an operable board, and I will put the time in to make sure that happens. Shout out to Rob, also giving me insight. These are things I can't see all these things. Rob says, thought I lost your channel. YouTube hid you for weeks. That doesn't surprise me. I need to know these things. And that's partly specific to Rob's comment, partly why I'm over at Rumble, so we can have multiple platforms in case one goes down. By the way, Rumble accelerated in stock yesterday and the last couple of days because of Joe Rogan deal with I think $1 million, $1 million. I can't remember. But anyway, people are rushing over to Rumble. So if you haven't already, click the link down below to get over to our Rumble account if you're on YouTube and subscribe on both. All right. And then a shout out to Micus. So we haven't seen Micus. I don't recall seeing a comment from Micus, but having several comments. And my heart goes out to you, apparently, for being homeless, and the information that we're sharing is just compassion, help. There's some other comments from Micus about electromagnetic sensitivities, and there's a whole slew of responses. My heart goes out to everybody. Thank you for pitching in to helping out Micus. But I wanted to concentrate on the comment here. He says the common meaning of the latter. Okay, eccentric is a word I used last week. In the common meaning of the latter, but that maybe you were using the word eccentric in a sense of Uranus Aquarius energy. Not that those of us who don't or won't comply are weirdos. Yes, I totally agree. I didn't use the word eccentric in that sense, in that particular way properly. I probably should have used the word rebellious, because that's another archetype of Uranus, or another characteristic. And then some new comments from Sparks of Life. Sounds good. Talking about the audio. So shout out to Sparks of Life and Brenda. Thank you for your comment. Over on Rumble, shout out to Tarif Babuska, bitch. Love that handle name. Mills 1 Oxford, and Not For Me to Say. Thank you all for these, not just random comments, but very meaningful. And the winner is this week, No One You Know Says, with 11. This is a record, 11 ups, 11 hearts, and a reply. Venus and Mars, divine feminine and masculine, standing strong together, finally, against the Saturn death cult, unraveling their stranglehold on this world. Lots of people resonated with that one. Big shout out to no one you know. Congratulations for winning this week. And let's get into the Dreambot. Oops, wrong slide. All right, there you go. There's all the red arrows is clearly yang. And I'll let you read through those if you're interested, but clearly, in my opinion at least, pretty yang. It took me a while to figure out the overview because I almost went masculine, but like there's some of those are not just pure masculine. And I mean, they're all masculine, but the overall umbrella, the underlying concept is clear yang. So that's why I went with that as the broadest category. And then imagining, so view, dreamed, sunny, trip, dreamt, city. So imagine it, dream it, see it. That's putting these together, yang and imagining, that's manifesting, period. All right, let's get back to the astrology. All right, all planets are direct. Let me tone this down a little bit so you can see where I am. Little reminder that Mars and Venus go exact together in the same direction, direct, on the 16th. That's 2 days after Valentine's Day. Mercury is going to get exalted and go into Aquarius. We have Mercury and Pluto going exact for the last time for a while. In Pisces on the 11th. So that's right at the start of our week. Let's see. From there, you can see the lightning. It's getting lighter and lighter. So the emphasis or the energy behind the year plus energy of Saturn and Uranus in a square is getting lighter and less effect on all of us. All right, let's move on. Thursday, the 10th. All right, let me explain a lot of things on this particular day, and then, not much changes from there other than the full moon. So basically, the energies that I talk about are going to be here generally the whole week, except for the only exception here is the moon. Moon is in Gemini, making things a little bit more rational. The emotions a little bit more rational and makes more sense, I guess. But the emotions themselves, look at all those lines. They're going to be all over the place. 2 adjustments, 2 trines, 2 squares. So emotions in particular on Thursday, the 10th, are all over the place. All right. Now, the primer. Remember Uranus and Saturn in a square? That is about 5.5 degrees, and so it's losing strength. That's the one where the freedom fighters, the rebellious ones, the ones that aren't afraid to be different, are non-complying against the compliers and the shoulds and the establishment and the big government, all that. So that's losing strength. But I want to show you something. Yeah, Saturn has 2 alignments on it. But look, this is only going to get added onto it. Is Uranus has 4 alignments, and 2 of those is the trine over to this magic gathering here, holding together, passion play. Venus and Mars holding hands together 1 degree away in a conjunction. And that passion in goal-oriented Capricorn is easy energy over to Uranus and back and forth. So Uranus is instructing, so rebellious and not being afraid to be different. Boom, easy insights and change over to the, romantic relationships or passionate relationships or really close relationships. We also have the archetypes of peace and war. Peace and war. Venus and Mars. Peace and war are together. Smash together. How do you work that out? That's interesting, isn't it? And goal-oriented Capricorn. So peace and war together. What could that possibly mean? Peace and war together. easy energy over to Uranus, which Uranus is also technology and even electricity. So easily gets, this is already Venus and Mars already extremely passionate, only getting tighter in the next few days and even getting more passionate. And now you electrify it with Uranus. So, and strange things and change and freedom, independence, rebellion, eccentricism, being different. And then that quiet little sextile. Remember that? This is a big one. So Jupiter had 2 sextiles, and these represents very opportunistic and pleasurable opportunity or pleasurable representation. And this one was over to Mars, but that one is aging out. It's already 3 degrees past. So the one that'll stick around for a while and is closing in on exact is Jupiter at 9 degrees and Uranus at 11 degrees. So as Jupiter progresses in these next few days, this sextile is getting tighter, and the energy is more and more available and more influential. Well, now we've got the freedom fighter, independent, rebellious one representing opportunities to Jupiter, which is the wise one, the judicial one, the judge, so look at that. Part of that is the freedom fighters having an opportunity with judgment. That could spin some very interesting headlines as we go forward. But growing opportunities and growing pleasure. I love this. Growing pleasure in the judgment rulings, synchronicity towards freedom and independence. Kaboom! Isn't that joy? I don't know what is. All right, so let's move on. You can see how not much really changes. Friday the 11th, you have Mercury starting to, now it's on the other side of Pluto, so this went exact. And this is Mercury in Capricorn, so thoughts, of things that need to be getting done and goals and objectives, determination. There's that I-Ching determination again. But it's in the last few degrees of Capricorn. And you can see once Mercury really gets free of Pluto at 3 degrees and ages out this conjunction, immediately enters Aquarius pretty much as a free man or a free mind or a free communicator, and exalted even, so strengthened. But that hasn't happened yet. Not on Friday the 11th. Friday the 11th, things could get tumbly for the mind. That's the only downside here. But Venus and Mars getting stronger, more passionate, and this trine over to Uranus is still has, Uranus with a heavy focus. Now emotions are still fluttering around and all over the place. This is on Friday again. All right, on Saturday, the focus now is more profoundly Uranus. So the moon still has quite a few alignments and is in home. So emotions have settled and more nurturing and motherly, maternal, if you will. But the focus now is shifting over to Uranus, as you're going to see. And Uranus has got 2 opportunities, 2 sextiles, 2 pleasure points, one pleasure to Jupiter that we talked about, and the other 2 just nurturing sort of emotions. And bottom line here, just big focus on Uranus. Sunday. Oh, I was wrong. Oh, I skipped a time. Now, look at emotions still in homeland of Cancer, so still maternal, but a lot more of them. And they have to be balanced with all these other things. So mental transformation that just happened. So a new form of thought, new thought, particularly around goals and Capricorn issues. And then you have the Venus and Mars having to balance that passion, that electrified passion, with home, emotions and home. And there's a big emphasis on that in your emotional complex this week, as evidenced by all these alignments. Then Monday is the 14th, so happy Valentine's Day. And this will be the last day Mercury is in Capricorn. So in the afternoon on Valentine's Day, mind gets exalted. Communication gets exalted, gets more knowledgeable, gets more truth finding, that kind of thing. Putting the pieces together is what mind can do now. The big alignment for Valentine's Day, though, is undoubtedly this Venus and Mars, and they are only 20 minutes away. So very, very close. Let's look at the parallel. So they're not, in terms of elevation, if we want to go out in the night sky and look at these planets, they're not elevation together. So they're going to be spread out in elevation, all right? Just an FYI. Look at this. Jupiter and Uranus is only 30 minutes. So there's a really tight alignments, and the tightest ones are Uranus and Jupiter, which is really great for the freedom fighters, and the Mars and Venus, with the heavy emphasis on passion, peace, and war. Yin and yang, even. We got male and female smashed together. This can be a highly passionate one for your romantic relationships. Perfect for Valentine's Day. And this is only getting stronger as we go. Speaking of which, Tuesday we have a T-square on Uranus. So the opposition is the Moon and Saturn. But the emphasis or the trap is in Uranus. And not a lot of us are going to be feeling awful about being trapped in Uranus, particularly you Aquarians or Aquarius risings or Aquarian moons even. Not afraid of Uranus. Uranus instructs us. Uranus shows us the way, new way, that gets us out of the cage, and also electrifies. So we're only looking at 18 minutes away, and the moon's having some more alignments. But the trap is over there on freedom-loving Uranus. Not such a bad thing in this case, especially when you have a very close sextile and opportunity with the wise one. Then on Wednesday, to round out our surf week, we have a full moon in Leo at exactly 28 degrees Leo. We have Mercury exalted. This one is at 10:56 a.m. So, and this is Central Time, by the way. Going to be able to see this during the day if you're on the other side of the world. Okay, so what is Leo? It's been so long since we had this strong Leo energy. This is the lion, and the lion's been cooped up, as you all know, energetically, and it's ready to roar, and it's ready to go on the offense. Leo is, well, let's start with the full moon. Full moon, sort of crazy energy, unexpected energy, adding in there higher than normal adjustments, but at least they're rational, because they're rational coming from Mercury, or mind, just got transformed, all right, and now enters exaltation, and so instructs this full moon. So it's a little less irrational behavior that you're going to see from this full moon because of Mercury exalted adjustment or in conjunct to the moon. And so that's pleasant, but it's a strong, which is sort of a paradox. This is also very similar to Venus and Mars together, because you've got moon, which is the highest yin, in the yang sign, and the highest yang sign. This is the home of the sun. And so the sun, being the weakened ego in detriment in Aquarius is shining, blasting, and highlighting this, I don't know, irony, if you will, the yin and the yang together again in two places. So you've got moon, the nurturing moon, but in the not crazy, but what's all Leo? Leo is strong, strength, leadership, power, creativity, but also youth and childlike wonderment and curiosity. Fun and entertainment is another one. But if you think about what the Leo or what the lion does out in nature, it goes and hunts. So it's also the hunter, and it rarely loses. So what we have is a powerful moon alignment, a full moon that is less crazy than it normally is, and it provides the channel to be powerful. You have the yin and the yang together here. You have the yin and the yang going exact. We're only 1 degree off at the time of the exact full moon. You got Venus and Mars together, electrified by Uranus. So altogether, you have the male, female, the yin, yang, the peace, war in two different places at an almost perfect position together. And it's profound passion, it's profound available power, even to the point of going on the offense. Even mind is with it. All the planets are direct. Everything correlates. It's like the perfect positive storm all in once. And that's going to be probably plus or minus 24 hours, mainly around this 16th, the Wednesday. So I'm excited to show you the I-Ching readings. Okay. Which is what we have next. We have the influences to determination. Some resolution is pointing to a breakthrough. People are feeling it. We saw this in the CIRF last week. The pendulum was starting to shift. Now it's gaining momentum. If you diligently hold your ground, warding off negative tendencies or bad influences, goodness will indeed prevail. Just when you think an undesirable element has been uprooted or another, it will pop up again. So the point here is the thing with determination is that we are stomping out corruption. We're stomping out the weeds, but the weeds keep growing. It doesn't mean give up. It means determination. It means keep on going. But remember, this is not the solution. This is the influence. So you're going to feel the need to keep going. That's the influence. The first rule, do not compromise with corruption. The second rule, you cannot successfully resist or defeat negativity on its own terms. Positive alternatives, which lead away from the nature of the problem, are more appropriate than trying to counter corruption with raw power. Third, the means used to counter negativity need to be consistent with the result you want to achieve. You cannot stop the spreading of lies by spreading more of them. Don't stoop to their level. All right, line 5. Uprooting corruption in high places is difficult and can only be accomplished by a steady and determined effort. I love that statement, don't you? Now, look at this. Look at this power. The solution is great vigor. And I've got good news for you that I haven't mentioned yet, is that this Leo is not just the influence of the full moon in tropical Leo. It's also a full Leo moon in the sidereal. Guys, we are in that slight overlap between tropical and sidereal. And so we are influenced by it, but also the solution is also great vigor. It's also Leo being the leader, being the using your power. Congratulations. There is a strength and vigor in this situation, like that of a ram that knocks down a fence to free himself from captivity. That sounds like Uranus too, doesn't it? This points to a time when a strong force comes into its own and asserts its power. It's about asserting power. Once at the summit, the support of others is needed to maintain position. That matches the Venus and Mars help. And then let your strength be tempered by wisdom. To maintain power, the strong leader learns to share it with others. That sort of matches the Mercury exalted. A strong leader will not only be possessor of power, but a source of it. That is the overlap of tropical and sidereal Leo. The strong leader will not only be the possessor of power, tropical, or that's sidereal, but a source of it. That is tropical. A strong sense of responsibility for the collective good is the key to a successful exercise of power. By following what we intuitively know to be of the greater good, we avoid reckless abuses, which in the end only undermine the source of our strength. Arrogance contains the seeds of its own undoing. So what I did was I plotted in the full moon in Leo, and what you can see is it's in that, there's that overlap. Let me darken this up so you can see it. There's tropical Leo, and here's sidereal Leo, and it's in that overlap. So we also have Rave, hexagram 29, and sidereal Leo. 29 is the abysmal, the deep within the deep. Persistent despite difficulties, it has its inevitable rewards. Guys, you have been persistent because you've been following these CIRF reports, and that's all we've been hearing for so long is just being persistent. And so now we're starting to see the rewards of it. Now the line 4 in the abysmal is directness. This is totally Leo. The shortest distance between 2 points is a straight line, meaning that we're not hiding anything. We're not mincing any words. The wisdom to use the simplest and most direct approach to solve difficulties. The power to commit oneself to the simplest and most direct process. This almost sounds like the quickening of our timeline, doesn't it? That means sort of like the gauntlet coming down, and there's no mincing words anymore. It's just get it done. Now, here's some downsides to watch out for. Simplicity and directness, all too often seen as inharmonic and aesthetically crude. The power of directness often offends others. So what we want to do is try to be pointful, or shortest point, quickest, transparent, just get it done sort of approach, but not at the point of offending others. Say it like it is, but not so truthful that it's piercing their soul and hurting them. Okay. But you're not walking on eggshells. It's somewhere in between. You're not walking on eggshells and holding things back. You are saying something very direct, but not to the point of hurting their feelings. All right. All right, let's go into the solution. All righty, zoom in. So here we have, I have 2 pictures. We have passion. Actually, it should be 2 people together representing the male and the female. That's the Z archetypes, yin and yang, but they're being electrified by Uranus. And you got the lion, that's the full moon in Leo. And together they actually support each other. So beautiful. The I-Ching, remember, says determination, resolution towards breakthrough, uprooting negative elements, but they continue to pop up, such as more lies and deceit. Do not compromise with corruption. Corruption is the new weed. They just keep on sprouting. All right. So that's the influence. And of course, neither one of these people is going to be tolerant of or appreciative of corruption and lies. And so putting those teeth into those problems right now. And that supports the triangulation of the solution as well. We have great vigor for the I-Ching, knock down the fence and free yourself. Bust through the gates, support each other, and remember strength must be tempered with wisdom, responsibility for the collective good. And the rave member said directness, just simple and most direct process. And then we have the Leo. And so we all know about like charisma and leadership and optimistic and creative. But impulsiveness normally is that part of Leo that we want to be distant from or watch out for. Leos can be very impulsive. And I'm not so sure that that's a bad thing this week, because that impulsiveness really accentuates the rave mandala. So temper the impulsiveness, but I wouldn't be too patient. I wouldn't be too mindful of impulsiveness. I'd be at least somewhat mindful and make sure that you're staying on track with impulsiveness, but I wouldn't be too afraid of it. These are more for people like me or like your Aquarians who are not familiar with the Leo energy. And so I'm not very impulsive. And so I need to work actually towards being quicker and more direct. And so those are the hard parts for me to incorporate the Leo solution. All right, let's do the triangulation from all those three. And what we have is this full moon presents in one of the rare overlaps between tropical and sidereal astrology, both being Leo. Everything in this triangulation supports the Leo solution. First, imagine the lion. It has speed, it has strength, it has leadership, and is intimidating in appearance. The lion doesn't take any crap. It defends its righteous and inherent place in the highest position because it rarely fails. The lion, and it rarely loses. The lion gathers in groups. The females travel in prides and the males in coalitions. This week, it is important to gather with other pack members and build strength. It's important to be as direct as possible according to the rave, but do not use this energy to offend others, intentionally or accidentally. The I-Ching turns the focus on seeking freedom, supporting others, wisdom, and the collective good. With all that in mind, bust through the gates of tyranny and feel free to scream at the top of your voice for freedom. As we have been seeing, the pendulum is changing directions and the momentum is on your side. Seize the day. So, as what I do each week is have like a mantra for you or a phrase that you can repeat to help you out with the sort of an easy way to remember, hopefully, the solution. And what you could say this week is, I proudly take what is righteously mine. And even while beating your chest, it is pride. I mean, they even talk about the gatherings of lions as pride. Okay. So pride is only bad when too excessively, but to prevent yourself from feeling pride or be proud enough to take what is righteously mine is not a complete person. So this week it is pride. Hard, really hard for us, say Aquarians or some other of the zodiac signs, that's not all about the pride and recognition and all those things. So this can be a very conscientious week for you, but you do deserve to have what is righteously yours. So take it. And you've got the energy to do it. Let's do it. I proudly take what is righteously mine. All right? Healthy amounts of pride. Don't cower down. It's not ego that we're talking about here. It's deeper than that. It's your soul connection to the collective. And the collective needs us. The collective needs us. All right, everybody. Thanks for being here. I hope this was of value to you. And do type out some comments below about the message board at National Dream Center, or write me an email, nationaldreamcenter@gmail.com. And I'm a one-man show with National Dream Center. There's a lot. I'm consumed by lots of different, even businesses. And I do have Angie's help for one of the businesses, but I'm a one-man show over there. Not complaining. But it takes time, and something I have very little with, but we'll do it. Do we want to have a community over there or not? I mean, do we want to have the community over here at YouTube? Do we want to have the community over at Rumble? That's up to you guys. Just let me know, and put the time in as required, depending on what it is you guys want. All right. Have a great week. We'll see you again next week. See ya, everybody.